And welcome to Friday Fun Live. We've got lots of fun things to show you. I've got a very exciting announcement regarding next weekend. I want to tell you all about in just a minute, but let me go ahead and say hey to everybody in the chat. I noticed that Wanda Gordon was the first. I don't know that she, let me make sure I'm not silent. Good. I don't know that she is still here, Wanda, but if you're still here, thank you for putting your comment in there. She just wants to thank everybody for all the prayers for her family. There were well over 100 people commented in the community section to encourage her and her family. So thank you so much for that and for the way you really are a community and the way that you're taking care of Wanda and her family, lifting her up to the Lord in prayer, even though we've never met, I've never met her, you've probably never met her, but that doesn't mean we can't be kind to each other and um, and certainly pray. The Lord knows the needs before we even ask. But anyway, thank you so much for doing that. Let me say hey to some of you other folks here. Let me get this adjusted. There we go. Brad's mom's in the chat. Hey, I think it's Linda, right? If I'm right, and she's welcoming all you fellow yarnies out there. And let's see, Rebecca and Shirley from Georgia. Thank you, Shirley, for your sweet comment, and Jane and Alana. Yeah, thank you for your prayers, Alana, for Wanda and her family. And those of you who do pray, don't stop, because you know this is just the beginning of a whole new transition for their family, and it's going to take, it's life changing. So thank you. Oh, thank you, Archer Nation. You just bumped us up to $75 towards our next song. Yay. Um, and we have Laura and Holy Hummer. What a fun name. From Central California. And Donna. And from New York, Dolores. And I just got a bunch of comments coming in. Let's see. Let's see. Dolores. She says she's out supermarket shopping. Um, Thanks for the reminder, Dolores. That's probably something I need to do at some point. We have April from rain-soaked Spokane, Washington. Yeah, the other side, the other area north of the East Washington is also rain-soaked this morning. A lot of beautiful leaves flying through the air, and one very old giant blue spruce that's on the property next to us is finally gone. It said its farewell last night and thankfully fell the opposite direction of the electrical line. So we still have power to broadcast. So I'm really thankful for that. Had it fall any other way, we might not be talking today on the live broadcast. Lots to be thankful for. Dolores says she is doing swatches for the first time of the square patterns. I can get a bit lost in crochet cable stitches. I'll be ready to go after Christmas, hopefully. Yeah, Dolores, there is a learning curve to these, and we're going to talk about that in just a bit. There is a learning curve to these squares with the current crochet along. But once you practice, and if you want to do smaller swatches, that's great. And I think the squares themselves are a little bit bigger swatches, but it's a good way to learn. It's a fun way, I think, a good way, and you can just rip it back if you're using acrylic yarn. It's not going to tear up too much. I have Sandra from South Carolina. Hey, Sandra. And is it Debasmita? And Wanda, the backwards wrong side crocheter. She's in sunny Texas today, 62 degrees. Wow, I hope things are going well for you, Wanda, on the road out there, and you're staying safe. Very, very windy where we are. We've had wind advisories just about all week long. It's been exciting. My sister flew back from a trip recently, and I told her there's a wind advisory, so hold on to your seat when you land. And she said, thanks for the heads up. And it was a little bumpy, but nothing like our Arizona trip, right, Brenda? She said that takes the top. We landed back in 2018. We flew out to see my uncle and aunt, and landed in Phoenix, Arizona, and there was the most turbulent air I've ever experienced, and I've flown quite a bit. That takes the cake over Arizona. I mean, we were rocking and rolling. Um, Probably not as bad as my husband. Um, many years ago when I had the old airport in Hong Kong, he was on a 747 and he landed. That's before they built the runway out away from the real tall buildings. That's when you had to dive in between the tall buildings. If you ever watch YouTube videos on like the worst runways or airports, conditions, landing conditions in the world, it's usually on there. And he got to do it on a 747 with what's the opposite of a hurricane? Thank you, Hudson. A typhoon, basically a typhoon sitting right off the coast, and it was fun. He said that the pilot got an ovation from the passengers. So I don't really need to experience that, but anyway, what, hun? Huh? What's it called? Thai Tech. How do you spell it? Kai Tech Airport. That's what my son said it is. So if you want to look that up online. But anyway, very windy today. Boy, I can sure go off on a tangent here. We have Archer Nace again. Thank you for your very generous contribution there towards our kitty for the next song that will be donated to a charitable organization, either Rancho 3M or Shriners Hospital for Children. All right. Thank you, April, for your prayer for Wanda. Um, oh, and I'm so sorry for your loss. You said, wow. Yeah, thank you, April. You know how to pray for our friend Wanda. You know what she's dealing with. Thank you so much for your generous heart to do that and to care for each other. Oh, we have Jan in the chat. She says she's had doctor's appointments and had to work, and it's good to be here. Well, it's good to have you back, Jan. Uh, Archer Renee says she's working on Emily's wave blanket for Christmas. I hope you like that one. It's somewhat relaxing if you don't mind counting. I really like the results though. I really would like to make another one with some of that other yarn that Eternity Ranch Knits has dyed for Emily's lamp shop, lampshopkits.com. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check the video description below. There are links for just about everything I'm talking about, but there is one there for Emily's lamp shop kits shop if you're looking for a really nice gift either for yourself or for somebody else. This is not Walmart yarn by any stretch. This is hand dyed 100% wool, and the one that is mentioned that Archer Nace is mentioning is actually a blend of superwash merino wool and silk. I don't remember the exact percentage. I think it's like 15% silk or something like that, but really, really nice, beautiful stuff. Definitely put it in the investment category, but it's there in case anybody's interested. Swati says she's going to have to miss again due to work, but I hope all is well. And I'm here from sunny LA. Sunny, but this week rainy. Well, good for you guys. Jan says it's 54 and cloudy, rain showers in her town in Illinois. And we have Love to Craft. Says it feels like I've been away so long, but in reality, I only missed last Friday. Yeah, it's really funny too how fast the weeks are going. I feel like since I've been home, time is just, I'm in a time warp, and I wanna slow it down a little bit, but don't really have the ability to. And I'm just looking out my windows here. I have both of my windows open in front. It's just beautiful out there. It's rainy and it's windy and the leaves are flying. You can't have such beauty without the rain there, can you? I was thinking of that this morning and thinking about, boy, it'd be nice if it was just another beautiful sunny day, but it's the rainy days that fill our wells with water and just make everything bloom and blossom so beautifully. So thank God for that. All right, let's see. Oh, we have Cindy Lyman in the chat, and we just got a bunch of we have Vanessa, Tracy, and Diana from Dallas, and Jane, and let's see, Jacqueline from Los Angeles, and let's see, Joni Trishler says she's making chili. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Reminds me of my mom. She would like to make some of that good old Cincinnati chili on a day like this. She'd usually get myself or my daughter Becky to make it for her because and it's kind of funny. Becky would use a recipe from her American Girl doll book um, to get the recipe. So much better than that stuff in the can, you know. We have Stefka from, she said, based in Dublin. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Ireland. That is so cool. We have Cheryl from San Jose and Janice from Mississippi. Oh, cool. Love to Craft says she missed Friday's live because I was at my daughter's helping with party favor bags and watching my grandson in between. He turned 1 on the 25th. We just had a drive-through type party. Well, that is really cool. I'm glad you all can celebrate, even if it's, you know, small celebration. Hopefully the next one will be just full-blown in-person kind of thing for you all. I hope it can be. We have Tracy from Glasgow, Scotland, if I'm saying that right. And thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah, for being there with us. Hannah is my daughter. She's our superb moderator, bouncer, keep the chat nice kind of a person there for us. So thank you, Hannah, for being there. Hannah had a busy week this week, driving Grandma Barker to the funeral I mentioned to you all last week. So I was not able to get away because my husband was not able to get away to go down. But I'll be heading down there in about 10 days. So I have one more broadcast from here, according to my plan currently, and then I'll be swapping out with Hannah for a few weeks, and looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to the warmer weather, just a little bit warmer, just a little bit longer, you know. We have Diane from New Jersey, and we have Kathy Thistlethwaite, if I'm saying that right. Wow, that's a great name. Reminds me of my last name that used to have 10 letters long. I switched it for a 6-letter name, which people still don't get right, but anyway, I digress. We have Lisa. She says, hello, I'm going to make your wave baby blanket. I'm excited to make it. Well, I hope you enjoy that, Lisa. I think that's another one that involves a lot of counting, but as long as you don't mind counting, you'll be good. We have Margaret, and is it Emi? Uh, EMI from Victoria, Texas. And Veronica from Germany. Wow. And thank you for welcoming everybody, Hannah. And we have Bonnie L from Niagara Falls. She says, hope all are doing well, enjoying our crochet weather. Yeah, absolutely. We have Patty from I was going to say LA, but it's LV, Las Vegas. And Jane from West Springfield, Massachusetts. And wow, Paula from Chile. And Erlene, if I'm saying that right, from Alabama. Thank you, Erlene, for your sweet comment. And Dawn, wow, lots of people today trying to get through, trying to say hey to a lot of folks. We have God Bless America 2019, like that name too. And yeah, okay. Well, let me go ahead. We have Retta. She says, how do I find patterns for throws? Links don't work to new channel. Retta, I'm not sure what you're looking for. If you can contact me, bonniebay@me.com. That's just the best way and the fastest way to get your questions answered. And that goes for anybody that's watching. If you have a question, like a burning question about a design or something that's really specific, and maybe you've left it at some point in the comment section, especially if it's like an older design. I don't always get notified of those comments. So if there's something that you really need answered quickly, bonniebay@me.com is my business email. It may take me a day or so to get to you, but I will answer. I'm the only one who answers that. It's not delegated to anybody. So definitely try me there, okay? And I can try to help you with any links that you may be having trouble with. Okay. Okay, Hannah says the air and throw. Well, I really need, if you could contact me through email, Retta, that would be great, because even air and throws, there are several that could be. So if you could just tell me what you're looking for in an email. I can really help you specifically. That's the problem when I think I have over 650 videos on my channel now. So um, when people ask questions, sometimes it takes me about 15 minutes to look up the answer and do some research and dig up the pattern and so forth. So um, you contacting me that way, it makes it a lot easier for me to keep up with the dialogue and so forth. All right, we have Sandra D in the chat, and let's see, Cynthia Dalton. She's, I just finished making some pecan pie tarts, and I finished 2 works in progress this week. Oh, you're making me hungry, Cynthia. I haven't had lunch yet. I'll wait till after the broadcast to eat. Wow. Um, we have Pam from Florida. I'm sitting here balling yarn and waiting to hear about a yarn de-stash I can buy. Hmm. That's wow. Well, that's a good segue. Let me just go right on in to to my exciting announcement. It's exciting for me. I was kind of on the fence about doing the Frederick Fiber Festival this year in Frederick, Maryland, November 6th. And the reason I was on the fence is I honestly didn't know if I was going to be in town, so I held off. But they were kept pursuing me, and they said, "Well, we have 2 tables left." And turns out I went ahead and committed. I said, "Okay, okay, I'll take it." So I actually got the last table left in this fiber festival. It'll be a week from tomorrow, so November 6th. Mark your calendar if you're in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia, Pennsylvania area, and you want to have an absolutely stunning drive to Frederick, Maryland, looking at all the leaves, assuming that some will be left over after the storm we're getting. Um, Please come out. I'm only going to be one of I believe over 100 vendors there, and a lot of these tables are going to have amazing yarn. They're going to have all kinds of stuff there, but mostly yarn, a lot of hand dyed stuff. Um, there aren't usually a lot of crochet tables there, but I'm going to be there. And let me show you some of the things I'm going to have. And I'll be available to meet you guys, to sign books. I'm going to be selling a lot of books. I have a lot of books available. I may even have some special pricing on these since I'm not going to be paying shipping. I may give you guys a little bit of a break on it. I have copies of the self-striping. And of course, I have a lot of copies of my newest leaflet, which has 6 of the cabled designs, each of the representing the 4 seasons, plus 2 additional ones. And I got lots of extra copies this week from Amazon of the Cable Crochet Made Easy book. And I got a bunch of these yesterday. I got restocked. I was down to only 6 of these, and that was a dangerously low number. And I'm gonna have, and these are gonna be $20. These are gonna be $20 each on my stand. Okay, so which is about a $5 discount. So if you want to check out that, and I'm going to show you next week some of the other things that I'm going to have available. I'm trying to simplify my life, and what I've done is I've gone through my storage on the original models, like the original models that were photographed for these books. Some of them, like this one, I wear a lot. So these are mine. That's mine. But I have many that you can only wear so many things, right, at one time, and one person can only wear so many things, and so a lot of these have been kept in storage, in safe storage, and used only for demonstrations, and were only worn really while I was making them to make sure the sizing was okay, and also by the models who were in the photographs in the book, and that's basically it. So I have some of these original items ready to be sold. So I'm going to have a rack of these, and for most of these, I just have one of each, and they're going to be priced reasonably. I'm not a gouger when it comes to prices. I like to bless, but they're going to be priced in a fair manner. I promise you. And they're going to be available for sale. I have 2 boxes of these, So if you do get a chance to come, take a look and see what I got. If there's any of those that you want to take home with you, you don't even have to buy a book. You can just wear it as you leave. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. And let's see, am I forgetting anything? Okay, it's from 9 to 5. It's at the Frederick Fairgrounds, and there is a link in the video description. And if you want to come, if you can register ahead of time and get your ticket online, and if you do it that way, it's free. And it's kind of an outside event. You know, it's at a, like I said, at the fairgrounds, which is kind of like in big open barns. And I promise you, the wind blows through there quite effectively. Sometimes too much, but it's almost like being outside but with a roof. So if you're concerned about COVID or anything like that, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Um, if you don't register ahead of time, it's not a problem. It's just $5 at the gate. So and I promise you, it's really worth it. They're going to have some food vendors there. And the last time that it was at the fairgrounds, I really, really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot better than when it was all inside this building. I didn't enjoy that one quite as much. So anyway, I'm just really looking forward. This is going to be my first event like this in probably 2 or 3 years. So I'm really excited about getting out and just meeting people again in the public. So I mean, we did do the book signing a couple weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. But these fiber festivals always bring a ton of people. Um, so so anyway, just wanted to bring that to you. Also, if you have any questions regarding the mystery crochet along, squares number 1 through 4 are already up on the site. And just keep in mind, if you're not keeping up, it's okay. These videos are not going anywhere. Just make sure, since if you're following it live with me as I roll out each week, that you get your copy of that week's pattern from the website, okay, from my blog post, because it's free as long as it's on the blog while this is running. Um, at starting December 1st, it's only going to be available as a paid pattern, as a paid for pattern on my Lovecraft store. Of course, the watch subscribers get it complimentary either way, so you don't need to worry. But just to let you know, it's going to be free while it's running. And I'm really looking forward to getting these next 2 videos out because I think you're really going to like the result. One more to go. We just have the last square to be released on this coming Monday. And then the following Monday after that, we'll be releasing how to put it all together. So really, really, really looking forward to that. For those of you who are just hearing about this for the first time, instead of me going through all the information, what you can do is go to my home page. If you just click on my little icon, has a picture, says Bonnie Bay Crochet, and that'll bring you to the home page if you're not there already. And once you get there, click on the main video that's running on that page. It's Bonnie's. I'm starting to lose brain cells, I think. Bonnie's Mystery Crochet Along for 2021. So go ahead, it has all the information you need. If there's anything you don't understand, you can always go to the blog post too. It's written out and it's done sequentially with the most recent, like if you go to my blog post today, you'll see the information for square number 4. But if you keep going, then you'll see square number 3, then 2, then 1, and then you'll see the information for the very beginning. So if you're looking for extra information, like what about the yarn and all these other information, you just keep scrolling down and you just kind of read it backwards if you need to do it that way. So all the information is there. But should you have any questions or concerns, just email me, bonniebay@me.com. Like I said, that's the best way to get me. Let me go back and check the chat and see how everybody's doing. We have, is that Lena from Montreal? And Michelle says it's from Montana. It's 61 degrees, but it's supposed to be down to 14 tomorrow night. Oh my goodness. Well, say goodbye to any plants you may have in the yard, right? I have to tell you, I don't know if you've ever seen my impatience. I have this infatuation with my flowers. not been able to grow them in the last couple years because I haven't been here. This year was the year they were amazing. They got to be like 3 feet high. They were just amazing in front of my house, where it's always facing north and shady, so it has to be something that grows in the shade. And this year they were tremendous. They did so beautifully, and we're getting really close to getting a frost, and I know they're not going to last that long, which makes me feel better about what happened this week. The deer have discovered them, and it looks like a whole herd went grazing. You can still see that I had flowers there, but they're really thinned out at this point. But they weren't going to last that long anyway, so yeah, they're getting ready to go. As soon as we get below freezing outside, it's bye bye flowers. Um, okay, Hannah has a question from Jan. Did I figure out if there is auto renewal? You know what, Jan? I still need to find out, honey. I'm sorry I didn't look into that. This is still our, our first year doing this, so we are learning as we go. Um, let me let me ask. Let me text my husband real quick. Hold on. Uh, uh, but I can give you um, my thoughts on that. I would think it would renew as long as you don't. Uh, hold on a second. Well, I've texted my husband. I don't know if he's going to respond to me, but if he does, I'll give you the answer. Um, let me just do one more thing. Huh. Yeah, I would think it would automatically renew unless you wanted to cancel. Um, and as long as you don't, okay, my husband says he thinks so. He thinks it's auto renewal, but he is going to check on that. Okay, so maybe by the end of the time today, I'll have a real answer. Thank you for reminding me of that. It's so easy for me um, to forget things. All right. Um, hmm. Okay, Charlene sent a question about having trouble printing the patterns. I don't have a printer, so I sent to a friend and she wasn't able to print because it was not a secure site. Um, okay, if you see that it says not secure if you go to my site, that just what that is mostly saying is it's an older website. It has not been updated to whatever the latest. I don't know. We need to look into that as well. But I don't think it's not a site where money is being exchanged. So if that's helpful to you, Charlene, I don't do business or money dealings or anything like that on the site. I, I I don't think you need to be afraid. There are a lot of things, a lot of sites that say not secure, and I'm not encouraging you to go online and do things on unsecure sites, but the not secure thing is more of an indication that it's not upgraded to the latest and the greatest of securities. But again, there's no money being exchanged on my blog post. It's just pointing to other links in some cases, and it's just providing the blog information. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but the complete pattern will be available in my Lovecraft store very soon. Um, and if you are a watch site, you can download that from the Vimeo site for free, and I don't think there are any issues like that with that site. So I'm sorry if that's a problem, but I hope that answered your question. Um, I'm going backwards a little bit. I may have missed some comments here. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna let's see. We have Erlene. Did I say that already? Erlene. I'm trying to see where I was here in the chat. Um, okay, from Alabama. And yeah, okay, Diane said windy in New Jersey too. Yeah. Um, All right, Hannah sent me another question from Sandra D. Do you have a video about yarn types and scans versus rolling yarn into balls? I'm getting back into crocheting. It seems easier to crochet when I roll yarn into balls. Yarn winder I tried was not good. Um, I do. I have a few videos, Sandra. If you go to my playlist and look at, let me see what the, let me see if I can find out where these would be. Okay, so okay, getting back to the question on the subscription, my husband just gave me an answer. Okay, so this is the answer, Jan. For annual subscriptions, a renewal notice will be sent by email 30 days before renewal is required. Okay, um, so I hope that answers the question. So you'll be notified that it will renew, or notify that you can renew at 30 days before the renewal. And thank you all for those of you who have bought the yearly subscription. Now, many of you may have gotten it at the early introductory price, which is still the lowest priced ever. It's not going back down to that price. It was much lower than what it is. Well, a little bit lower than what it is now. And those people who got in at that low price can keep that low price as long as they're subscribing to the Watch channel. So, um, so yeah. And for those of you who are interested in that, just to let you know a little bit about the Watch channel, you can watch my best content. There's additional content that is not on not on the public channel, the public YouTube channel. I have designs like the one behind me. I have Aran sweaters. I have Christmas tree skirts. I have a lot of other things. All the designs that are in the Cable Crochet Made Easy book are there. The patterns for this are not, but the patterns that I design from this point forward, and for a lot of the new things that came out, like when the designs came out one by one that are now in the leaflet, the patterns were complimentary to my Watch subscribers. So whenever I upload something new, and the stipulation is that I own the rights to, and most everything that I'm developing going forward, I am doing everything in my power to retain my rights to those, so I can offer that as a complimentary pattern to my supporters on the Watch channel. Of course, they're also available in the Lovecrafts channel, Lovecrafts store, usually for a very nominal fee, usually less than what it cost you for a cup of coffee from Starbucks. So I try to keep that, within reason. And if you're ever, ever wonder, it's just funny to me. Well, I'll just say that if you ever feel bad for spending $4 or $5 or within that range on a pattern that some designer has put a lot of time into, just think about how much longer it's going to last than that cup of coffee. If you add a bagel to that cup of coffee from Starbucks, you basically get the cost of what it is to join the monthly fee for the Watch channel, which again I think is reasonable. And again, you get to watch the videos ad-free, spam-free, and again, some of them, there are many patterns that you can just download right from the site. Again, not all, because I don't own the rights to everything that I've done, but I own the rights to a lot of what I've done, and if I do, the patterns will be there for you to download. Okay. All right, so I hope that answers the question about the subscription, but thanks for asking that again, Jan. Was that Jan? Yeah, okay. Okay. What else we have going? Okay, let's talk about the holidays are coming, and I just wanted to draw attention to a playlist that is already on this channel. Maybe you've seen it before. There are a couple of playlists. There are many playlists actually, but I put 3 links down in the video description in case you have trouble finding where these are on my channel. And I'm going to just show you some things that are quick. Some are easy, some are intermediate, but a lot of these are quick and easy, and they make really fun gifts. I was going to show you this. There's a little bit of a stain on this because I use this all the time. I keep this right beside my computer um, to absorb moisture and so forth. This is 100% cotton. It's a cup holder, or like a trivet for when I'm drinking my diet Pepsi, or my Pepsi Zero. um, Trying to stay awake since I'm not a coffee drinker. Okay, so that is in one of the playlists down below. So just you can check on that. Here is a tulip stitch headband, and this is made with the Cascade yarn that's very stretchy and fits, fits really well. And it has a lot of, just wanted to show you, it has a lot of bounce back, so it's actually functional. It doesn't just slip down. Here is a scarf that can be worn, as a long scarf, or you can, this is what I like to do, I like to kind of double it. These are really nice in the summertime, and they look really, really good when you wear like a tank top and maybe a shirt over that or something. This is just a nice way to add a pop of color to, to an otherwise maybe plain shirt. Um, this is one of my favorites. I've shown you these in white, but this is just another color. These can be trivets. I mean, they're obviously thinner, but I use them in my house for trivets, or if I fold it in half, I can use it to grab things out of the oven. And because it's made out of 100% cotton, you can use this as a dish rag. This can scrub pots and pans. This is tough. This is really tough. Now the color of the yarn is probably not going to last all that long. It's going to wash out with the harsh detergents as you throw it in the washer and the dryer and everything. But it'll last a long, long time. These are really good Christmas gifts. Like if you have a lot of people on your list and you just instead of giving them something that maybe they can't use. I mean, it's something they can use, and they can use a number of different ways. You may have to educate them as to how and what the purpose of them is, but those are really good. I prefer that over any kind of, a dishcloth. These are my kind. Here's another example. And by the way, this is an easy beginner too. So I have this on a couple of my playlists, but and you can use Christmas colors if you want. This is just where's the yarn? Okay. This is the actual spool that came from. It's just the cotton yarn peaches and cream. You can buy this at Walmart. You can buy it at, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, any of those places, and probably get it online. I think you can get it from Amazon if you want to pay more for it, because a lot of times if you go into the craft stores, take your coupons on your phone and get a deal. Here is another. This is an easy beginner. It's another style of a dishcloth, and a little do flippy here so that you can hang it up to dry if you have a little hook you want to hang it on. And let's see what else we got. Okay, this is another kind of crazy color here, but it's kind of hard to see. Probably could have picked a better yarn, but I was wanting to use this yarn. This is a headband, has some stretchiness to it. This is made out of sock yarn, so if you have leftover, how you finish a project and you have like a little ball of sock yarn left, get your sock yarns together and you can make these. These are really nice and wide headbands. Might be nice if you like to go out walking or jogging, when it's a little bit cool, and keep your ears warm and your hair back. Here is a pumpkin hat. I've got 2 different designs like this on my website, and I believe videos for both, but there is at least one style of video for this, and I believe Emily with, I don't know which, it's a different design. It's a different one with the front and back posts, which is actually I like that one better than this one. But she has some special, really nice kits she's put together for the harvest hats. So if you want to check Emily's lambshopkits.com, I believe she may have some kits available if you're looking for some really nice, fun hand-dyed yarn for these. And here's there's a link in that same playlist for quick gifts, and there's one or the beginning list. This is just a simple beginner's hat. These work up really easily. Is this, I think, using half double crochets. and it's crocheted in the round. So you're not going to find any any connecting line in this, because it's learning how to use a stitch marker to mark the beginning of each round and to count your rounds like that, increasing as you go. And yes, beginner, absolute newbies can do these. It may not fit as best, as it could when you finish it. And I even show you how to connect, by sewing a button on the inside so that you can disconnect. I'm not going to do it now because it's kind of a pain to get back on. I have to use my crochet hook to put it back on, but there's a little elastic loop on this pom-pom, so I can remove that for washing and then just reattach it. I'll just show you the loop. You can see inside, you can see that little loop that goes around the button to hold on the pom-pom. So that way you preserve this from getting all gnarly looking. Okay, to show you this. This is a popular one this time of the year. I'm going to be making another one for me too. This is a long stocking hat. And I do teach you how to do the pom-pom and everything. This, you might want to get the pattern. The pattern is in the Lovecraft store, but the video is free on the channel if you want. And this does have the connecting line. You do see that, so you obviously want that to be in the back. But I've worn this to football games for my local team years ago. I mean, this is a lot of fun, and you can just even make this all red, and then make this part with the ribbing white for the holidays. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make another one, but without doing all the striping, just to do one that's all red, like a very long Santa elf kind of a hat. Be doing that pretty soon. And here is, again, this is a granny square shawl, and this pattern is, I believe, still a free pattern. Some of these patterns are free. The yellow hat, and I know this, and I think that the headband, the tulip stitch headband, are free patterns. This is also a free pattern. This worked up incredibly fast, and I used the real fuzzy yarn, but you can use just regular yarn. And honestly, you can use any yarn type, any size yarn, the thicker yarn, the thinner yarn, whichever you prefer. Just change the hook to match the yarn, and just stop crocheting when you get the size that you like. You just keep repeating back and forth, and doing the increases on the ends and in the center. So these are projects, if you're looking to do Christmas presents and get them shipped, you've got 6-7 weeks still. But to really enjoy the holidays, I like to have things kind of in order, so I'm not feeling rushed or anxious or anything. I really like to enjoy that. I got to show you some yarn. This is another unintended purchase, but as soon as I saw this, I thought, I've got a project for this, and it's going to be coming soon. Obviously, it's going to be a while because I haven't done it yet, but it's going to be a quick and easy project, and it will probably release, I don't know, I may wait until after Christmas for this one, but really, really excited to work with this. This is Spontaneous. I'll go ahead and let you look at that word. Spontaneous by Cascade Yarns. This is 100% extra fine merino wool. It's a single ply, which means you don't have a bunch of, strings twisted together and then the strands, twisted, like you have like 4 ply or 3 ply. This is 1 ply, 1 thick ply. I'm going to be using a very large hook on this. So it's going to go very quickly. It's going to feel so amazing. This is 109 yards, and this is 200 grams. So I'm going to be using 2 of these and the hook. Okay, here we go. This is the hook I'm going to be using. Although you can use, this is a size 19. Let me get my glasses to make sure I'm reading it right. This is a size US 19 or 15 millimeter. I mean, you can, if you even have anything just close to this, is what you would need. If you have like a 15.75, which I think is the more common one sold in the stores, you can use that too. You, actually, if you use a slightly bigger hook, you would probably need to do less stitches. It's going to be as simple as that. It's going to be a simple thing. So, really looking forward to this. This is going to be something I am going to keep. I already have the design in my head. I just have to do it. So, anyway, all right, Sandra D. Getting back to your question, I totally, yeah, had a train wreck in the head or derailment there. Sorry, in the brain. So you're looking for videos about yarn types. Yes, if you go to my channel, there's two ways you can look for them, or you could just send me an email, bonniebay@me.com, and I can just send you the links. I don't remember the exact names of them, but I have many. If you look, let me go ahead and look at my channel. I'm going to open up another page. And I'll tell you the name of the playlist, and I'll try to grab it and put it in the chat. This is what I do a lot all day when I'm answering people's questions, is just looking stuff up for reference. Let's see, we have okay, Yarn Talks. That's one. Let me go ahead and put this in the list. Okay, I'm going to put this down in the chat here. Okay, it's in the chat. I don't know if you can open another window and click on that and look at that. But there are a lot of videos on different things. Like I talk about self-striping yarns in one. Are they annoying or are they amazing? How to protect your stash from pests and so forth. Why does yarn come in hanks and not skeins? And I even talk about winding them. And as far as winding them into balls, I don't know what kind of a yarn winder you had a bad experience with, but there are some cheap ones out there and there's some good ones out there. I did invest years ago, and it was probably the best money I spent for what I do. I bought a yarn swift, a wooden yarn swift from Knit Picks, and there is a video link, I mean a link in the video description on the one that I use. There are many others that would be fine as far as the swift goes. However, the swift is just something that holds your yarn for you while you use the ball winder. The ball winder I use, I'm going to go grab it, it's right here. I have wound hundreds, if not thousands, of yarn, balls of yarn with this thing. But this is the Stanwood. It's a large ball winder, and there is a link in the video description for this as well. Obviously, you have to have a table that this can go onto, and then this tightens to the table. So you need to have some kind of a lip for the table. This will tighten, and this holds. This is the place where the yarn goes, threads through here, and then into the slit. And then as you turn the handle, this thing winds and turns. And I have not had any issues with this at all. I mean, once I learned how to use it, it's amazing. Shows almost no sign of wear. And I've had this. I have wound yarn for numerous projects and books and everything. I did not have one of these for my very first book. My first book, Contemporary Celtic Crochet, I wound every hank of yarn by hand. While I enjoy that to a certain degree, doing it to the point where it takes 10 hours or 20 hours away from you where you could be crocheting, not so much. This turns like 25-30 minutes of winding by hand into about 2 minutes or less. If the yarn that you are getting, if the hank has been treated well. Now, if you get some hanks that they look like tossed spaghetti, you're going to have some trouble with those. And I recently got one from Hobby Lobby, which was a surprise. I bought 3 of the dyed superwash. You can get them from anywhere, but that happened, and I was frustrated is an understatement, because I had to cut that yarn so many times just to get it wound. It was not a good experience. But it just made me thankful that that was a rare experience in winding yarn. So, and as far as a winding yarn that's already wound in balls, I would just I wouldn't bother because most of the scans or skeins that come from the store, um, if you can find the center pull, if they're the long skeins, that's the best way to do those. Um, but you know, you get some. Let me see. Do I have? Well, I don't like something like something like this. Obviously, you would just roll from the outside. And that's just a tiny little ball. That's not going to be a problem. Um, and when you take a hank, for example, like that looks like this, and then you wind it, you end up with something that looks like this, and the yarn pulls off of it effortlessly. Big word, effortlessly, and it makes crocheting a joy. But I do have a video on some things that I learned about winding yarn and how you probably shouldn't wind the yarn until you're getting close to using it, because sometimes if you wind it too soon, depending on your yarn winder, it can put stress on the yarn and pull on it and make it just a tad bit thinner over time. So you want to make sure you're going to use it in the next few weeks or so. I mean, it's not like you're going to ruin it if you don't. I mean, I have boxes where I've pre-wound yarn. I mean, I'm not worried about that a bit. But from going forward, what I'll do is if I have a lot of yarn to wind, let's say these. Oh, and one thing about the large ball winder is it's much larger than those cheaper. I mean, you can, I don't remember. I think this was around $60. I'm just guessing. Um, and you can buy yarn winders for $20. I don't want one. Because I know that these are the kind of ball wind that the really cheap junky ones, they can tend to break. They can be all plastic. There are plastic elements to this, but the main working components are not. I mean, well, they are, but it's very well made. Um, but I can wind balls like this on this ball winder because this is going to be a big ball when I wind it. Okay, so and the large ball winders can handle that. The little ones, you're really limited to, I don't maybe no more than 400 yards of soft yarn or something. I don't know the limits, but I do know that the small ball winders, yes, they are cheaper. You'll save money up front. Not so sure out, how long they're going to last. Um, and I'm not going to mention name brands because I'm not that familiar. I just know that I've heard the horror stories of the little cheap ones, and I know they have some that are even battery powered. I'm not ready to go to battery powered winders yet. I've seen them at the craft fairs and at the fiber festivals. I'm not ready to go there because if your yarn is not perfectly coming off of your Swift, it could snap the yarn, and I really don't want to do that. Okay, that was getting into the geeky end of the pool there, wasn't it? On that, but I hope that answers your question. Let's see. There are some other. Um, I do talk about different yarn types in that list. How does swatch and gauge relate to each other? And there's even some. My Australia shirt. I there are a couple visits to Australian yarn stores even in that listing. If you're interested in what is it like to meet some people the from Australia, uh, it was pretty wonderful, by the way. Um, but let's see. And what's involved in moving a yarn store? There's a video on that I participated with recently. And also, if you want to learn some history, ancient history about natural fibers, check out Natural Fibers in the Ancient World. So lots and lots of yarn information there, should you be interested. Um, let's see, what time is it? Oh my goodness, 12:54. Let's see. So next week, I just want to give you a preview. Next week, I'm going to show you some of those items that I told you about that I'm going to be selling at the Fiber Festival. So definitely stay tuned for that. Um, let's see. Oh, and I forgot to talk about this. Got two things coming. Oh, Let me show you. Coming soon, this will be coming in December. I have another, this is a hot pad or a pot holder. It's the two-sided. I used this yarn on this. I'm just using yarn from my stash, and you can fold this easily. This is a very safe pot holder or hot pad to get things out of the oven. This will not, you will not, if you use this properly, you're not going to get burned. You know, it's a lot safer than just, you know, a single layer of crochet. It also can make a nice trivet to set your pot of or cookware on. I oftentimes take things out of the oven. I love my Corningware. It's probably 35 years old, and I pick up pieces from the Salvation Army. I rescue Corningware too because I can always use like new tops or things like that because they don't make them as well as they used to. But so these are great for putting my Corningware, my square Corningware dishes on. And the week after the crochet along concludes, the Southwest poncho is coming. And I love wearing this thing. I got to wear this a couple times already and get a lot of compliments on it, I guess because they're bright colors, but they're also nice and fall. And if you don't want to make your Southwest poncho in Southwest colors, make it in any color you want. You can make it in winter colors. Maybe make them in colors of your alma mater or your school, your local team you want to support. You know, I thought about, you know, if the Caps, you know, get close to the Stanley Cup again, I'd like to maybe make one in, you know, in Caps colors, which are red, white, and blue, which would be, you know, very patriotic for us U.S. folks here. So that is coming, and this is an easy level project. It may look complicated, but it isn't. If you can do double crochets and treble crochets and chains and slip stitches and single crochets, okay, but basic stitches, and it's just making 2 rectangular panels, and I'll teach you how to make this really fun fringe. And if you're interested in what the yarn requirements are, I believe I added them to the video, the links below. I used Barocco vintage yarn. That's the worsted weight version of that yarn. For the main color, which is the chocolate, I used 3 hanks. For the red, the blue, and the rust color, which I believe is called paprika, I used 2 hanks of that yarn, and that information is, I believe, in the video description below. So, and if not, I'll check to make sure it's there. And this past week, in case you didn't get to see, and if you're, I know it's a little late in the broadcast, but if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Because sometimes you can subscribe, but you don't know when I've uploaded. So if you hit that notification bell, you're supposed to get a notification. So this is the Easy Beginners Quick and Easy Cushy Scarf. I made 2 different versions of these. The version that is on the picture has the 4 buttons. And this is one of these scarves where you can, you know, wrap it a couple of times around. You can wrap it. And you can fix these buttons any which way you'd like, because these buttons can come through any of the holes on the scarf. So you can get as creative as you want to get. You can wear it as a regular cowl. You can wear it as just a plain old scarf. I'll go ahead and see if I can do this. It always takes me a little bit of practice. Okay, you can wrap it up nice, and you can put the buttons, like I said, anywhere. Probably take more time than I'm taking right now, but I mean, you can do anything you want. You can, you know, wrap it tighter, you can make it more loose, you can put the buttons in here. You know, obviously take more time than I am in getting it ready. So lots and lots of possibilities, and the yarn is really noisy buttons. The yarn is the Bernat blanket yarn, which I know a lot of you are familiar with. They have a lot of great colors. And then I also show you how to make a buttonhole of any size. And for this one, I put this gorgeous big button on. Obviously, you can't bring that button through all the little holes. I mean, you could try, but it's not recommended. But you can, you can put this button on. Mm, This is fun to do on live TV. Okay, and then I'm making it 10 times harder, but you can wrap this however you want. And you can, put this off to the side if you want more of an asymmetrical look. So I cannot tell you that this really feels nice, and these are 100% acrylic. I'm recommending this for an absolute easy, first time even a crocheter I think can do this. Um, and if anybody out there makes these and it takes you more than 3 hours, let me know, because I would almost put a bet that you can make this in 3 hours or less. It took me an hour and a half, and that includes sewing on the button. So, and that was crocheting on the slow side, because whenever I crochet with this kind of yarn, it slows me down. And one thing I wanted to say about using the Bernat blanket yarn whenever you crochet with it, be careful with your hands and your arms. This stuff can really put you to task. It's great yarn. Um, Occasionally there are more knots than I prefer, but for the price and what you can do with it, I think it's still worth working with. Um, but do watch your hands. There's a lot of friction when working with the larger yarns, and I know my hands feel more stressed than if I'm working with, like if I'm working with cotton, it's the same thing. When I was working on this, I could feel a little more stress because of the roughness of the yarn. Um, and some of that, a lot of that is due to the friction of the yarn. It's a very different feeling than when you're crocheting with yarn like this. I mean, this is also cotton, but it's 100% mercerized cotton, very smooth. And surely when you're, working with the nicer yarns like the silk merino blends and stuff like that, I mean, it's so nice and smooth. But again, even though you can do these in 3 hours or less, if you need to take a break after 20 minutes, take a break from it. Okay, so don't, especially with the holidays upon us, you don't need to get a repetitive motion injury in your hand from crocheting. Please don't do that. There are many of us in the chat you can that I have interacted with. As we get older, we just have to be careful of our bodies. I mean, we're not 15 anymore. Well, some of us in the chat are, um, but I'm not. So I mean, we just do need to be careful. And even if you're 15, be careful. Preserve yourself. My son, um, one of my sons is what, 23, and he recently had surgery on his hand for something. He stressed it out. So be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Um, I'm gonna check. I don't know if there's anything huge in the chat here. I'm sorry I didn't get to everything, but I know I will take a look at this once I'm eating lunch and check in with everybody and see how everybody's doing. And I see Hannah's telling about the funeral on Wednesday. She drove her grandma. I told you earlier about that. Thank you for doing that, Hannah. And it was really, it's a sad time, but Hannah was telling me about it. She's like, it was amazing. It was so amazing. Because her husband and son have been volunteers for years with the fire department. So a lot of some fire trucks were there, and a lot of uniforms people, and the church was packed. So we even though it was a bittersweet time, but she loved Jesus very much, and it was not so much goodbye, but we'll see you later, Carol. Oh, anyway, thank you guys for taking care of Hannah in the chat on my behalf. Thank you so much. Um, and on that note, let me go ahead and I want to read something to you. I recommended this book to you all last week, and I'm going to put another plug in for it. This is not so much so that you click on the link, or, it is an affiliate link that I have for this book in here. But my main motivation for telling you about this is I'm benefiting tremendously from it. It's really encouraging me in my walk with the Lord in my life as an older woman. Yeah, I'm pushing 60 pretty hard. And I know for some of you that's like, ah, you're spring chickens. Like, well, maybe so, but we are all of us are at the oldest part of our journey ever, right? Every single one of us. And so, I mean, this is just a really good book. And if you're a young woman, I also recommend reading this book because it's full of the same wisdom that we all need every step of the way. The name of the book is Aging with Grace, and the subtitle I love is Flourishing in an Anti-Aging Culture. And we talked about that last week. This is by Sharon W. Betters and Susan Hunt. I'll show you the picture. Both of the ladies are in their upper 80s, mid to upper 80s, have experienced good things, have experienced tragedy, and they talk about it, and they talk about what has gotten them through and what is the strength of their life. And so I'm going to read from that, but as I read, it's just a verse that they quote, but it was in a really good chapter I read this week, and I wanted to read this to you. It's from Psalm 92, verses 12 through 15. The righteous flourish like the palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. And before I read any more, let me specify when they say righteous. This is not necessarily referring to anybody that's perfect, because as a Christian, I know so deeply how imperfect I am, and I think a lot of true Christians would agree. It's like we're not a Christian because we're perfect, but the opposite, because of our extreme need for for help in so many areas of our life, including salvation. And anyway, so in the word righteous here is more referring to a person who is trusting in another to cover them with their righteousness. And in this case would be God. This is from the Old Testament, so this is would be, I believe, the words of King David. And if you know anything about King David, he was far from a perfect man, very far from a perfect man, but yet his trust is what his trust in the Lord is what got him through. And so I'll start again. I just wanted to say that because I don't want people to think that, that this is smacking of any kind of self-righteousness, because it is not. It is absolutely not. This, a lot of the Psalms are written by people who are very broken, and are dependent on somebody, i.e. God, much bigger than them, to be their righteousness for them. So anyway, so that's what that is. I just wanted to be clear. So starting it again, Psalm 92, verses 12 through 15. The righteous flourish like the palm tree and grow like a cedar in Lebanon. And I'm told some of the trees in Lebanon can be thousands of years old. They are planted in the house of the Lord. They flourish in the courts of our God. They still bear fruit in old age. They are ever full of sap and green, to declare that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. So I hope that encourages you. It just really encouraged me this week, along with most of what was written in here. So if you get a chance, I think it's like $10 or $11 from Amazon. You may have a bookstore in your area locally that might even have it. So, but anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic week. Really looking forward to this coming week. I'm looking forward to getting all set for the books. The Fiber Festival. So if any of you are in the Maryland, DC, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Virginia area, and you want to come to the Fiber Festival, please put that on your calendar, and look forward to seeing you guys. Love you much. God bless. Bye-bye.